For the first 3,000 years of civilization, empires worked one way. You conquered a people, you crushed their gods, you burned their temples, and you made them bow. That was the rule. Every king, from Assyria to Babylon, followed it. Then one man broke the rule and changed what an empire could be. He was born to be murdered, raised by a shepherd in secret, and he went on to build the largest empire the world had ever seen. This is the story of Cyrus the Great, the king who conquered half the known world and freed its people instead of enslaving them. Before we begin, hit subscribe right now, because this channel is about to take you through the greatest underdog stories in history, one empire at a time. To understand why this story matters so much, you have to understand how it almost ended before it began. The year is around 600 BC. A princess named Mandana has a dream. Water flows out of her womb and floods all of Asia. Her father, the king of the mighty Median Empire, asks his advisors what it means. Their answer terrifies him. The child she carries will one day overthrow him. So the king does what paranoid kings do. He marries his daughter off to a weak, insignificant Persian lord, because no son of a nobody could ever threaten him. But the dreams don't stop. In the second one, vines grow from Mandana's womb and cover the entire world. Now the king is certain. He orders his general, Harpagus, to take the baby the moment it's born and kill it. Harpagus takes the baby, but he can't do it. So he hands the child to a shepherd and orders him to leave it in the mountains to die. The shepherd carries the baby home instead. His own wife has just lost a child, and so the boy who was supposed to die grows up as a shepherd's son. They name him Karash, son. For 10 years, nobody knows. Then, one day, it all comes undone. The boy is playing a game with the other children, a game called King and Court. He's the king. One of the noble boys refuses to obey him, and Cyrus, playing his part a little too well, whips him. The noble boy's father is furious. This is dragged all the way to the king, and the king looks at this shepherd's son and recognizes him, the boy he ordered killed. Here's where this story turns dark and where the king seals his own fate. The king can't admit he was disobeyed, so he lies. He tells Harpagus it's all forgiven and throws a feast to celebrate. He invites Harpagus, and he serves him one dish. Harpagus eats it. Then the king reveals what was on the plate. His own son. Let that sink in for a moment. Harpagus doesn't flinch. He bows and says, "Whatever my king does pleases me." But behind those calm words, a grudge is born that will destroy an empire. The boy, meanwhile, is spared. He's sent home, and in time, he becomes king of Anshan, a small Persian kingdom, paying tribute to the Median Empire his grandfather rules. But Cyrus has no intention of staying small, and he knows exactly who shares his hatred. In 553 BC, Cyrus raises his small kingdom in revolt against the greatest empire of the age. And here's the twist his grandfather never saw coming. The army sent to crush him is led by Harpagus, the man who ate his own son. On the battlefield, Harpagus turns his army around and joins Cyrus. 3 years of war. And at the end, Cyrus marches into the Median capital and takes the throne. Now, here's the first sign of who this man really is. Most conquerors would have killed the old king, his own grandfather, the man who tried to have him murdered as a baby. Cyrus spares him. He spares the man who wanted him dead. That is not normal. That is the foundation of an empire built on something other than fear. The Achaemenid Empire is born. Cyrus now rules the Persians and the Medes. But there's a problem on his western border. A king named Croesus, the richest man in the world. To this day, we still say rich as Croesus. Croesus decides to destroy this upstart Persian. First, he consults the famous oracle at Delphi. The oracle gives him a prophecy. If you attack, a great empire will be destroyed. Croesus hears what he wants to hear. He attacks, and a great empire is destroyed. His own. The oracle, as always, was technically correct. The battle is at a standstill. Croesus has the finest cavalry in the world. Cyrus is outnumbered. Then Harpagus, the man with the grudge, makes a simple observation. Horses are terrified of camels. The smell, the size. So Cyrus puts his archers on camels and sends them to the front. The Lydian horses panic. The famous cavalry breaks, and Cyrus's archers cut through the enemy. Croesus retreats behind the walls of his capital, Sardis. He expects Cyrus to pack up for winter because that's what everyone does. Cyrus does the opposite. He follows and takes Sardis in 14 days. And Croesus, the man who tried to destroy him, is brought before Cyrus alive and spared. Cyrus doesn't execute his enemies. He collects them. He makes advisors out of the men who fought him. That is how you build an empire that lasts. Now comes the prize. Babylon, the greatest city on earth. Walls 80 feet high. A moat. The Euphrates River flowing straight through it. For centuries, no one had taken Babylon by force. Cyrus could have starved it out for years. Instead, he finds a crack in the armor. Babylon's king, Nabonidus, is hated by his own people. He's neglected their god, Marduk. He's canceled their festivals. So Cyrus quietly sends word into the city, "I'm not coming to conquer you. I'm coming to restore your god." Then he does something no one expects. Upstream, his engineers dig channels and divert the Euphrates. The river that guards Babylon drops to waist height. On the night of a great festival, when the city is drunk and celebrating, Cyrus's men wade through the riverbed, under the walls, and into the city. By morning, it's over. Babylon, the unconquerable, has fallen without a battle. Here's the part that made Cyrus a legend, and it's not the conquest. Babylon held tens of thousands of captive people. Jews, dragged from their homeland decades earlier by Nebuchadnezzar, forced to live in exile. Cyrus lets them go. He sends them home, and he pays, out of his own treasury, to rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. The Jewish people called him the Anointed One, the Messiah. To this day, Cyrus the Great is the only non-Jew in history ever given that title. Without that decision, Judaism might have died in exile, and Christianity and Islam, which grew from that same root, might never have existed at all. Think about that. One act of mercy, 25 centuries ago, quietly shaped the world you live in today. Cyrus didn't just conquer differently. He ruled differently. Most empires crushed local cultures. Cyrus let conquered peoples keep their gods, their languages, their customs. He lowered taxes. He split his empire into provinces called satrapies, each with its own governor. He built an elite guard of 10,000 soldiers called the Immortals, because the moment one fell, another took his place. The number never dropped below 10,000, and he wrote it all down on a clay cylinder, a declaration of how a ruler should treat his subjects. Today, we call it the Cyrus Cylinder. Historians call it the first human rights charter in history. He was a conqueror who believed mercy wasn't weakness. It was strategy, and it worked so well that 2 centuries later, the man who finally destroyed his empire, Alexander the Great, stood before Cyrus's tomb and bowed. But even the greatest king has an ending. In 530 BC, Cyrus marches north to the steppe against a nomadic people called the Massagetæ. Their queen, Tamaris, has just lost her husband. Cyrus offers to marry her. She sees through it instantly. He doesn't want her, he wants her land. She warns him to go home. He doesn't listen. He lures a third of her army into a trap with a feast of wine, a drink the nomads don't know. They get drunk. He slaughters them. Among the dead, or the captured, is Tamaris' son, who takes his own life. A grieving mother makes a vow. She will give Cyrus all the blood he wants. The final battle is brutal. The Massagetæ fight in heavy armor, with axes, up close. The Persian army, the army that had never lost, is destroyed. Cyrus the Great falls in the field. Tamaris keeps her promise. She finds his body, and, the story goes, she holds his severed head over a skin filled with blood and says, "Drink your fill." The man who freed empires was killed by a queen avenging her son. Even the most merciful king meets a violent end. His body was carried home to a simple stone tomb in Pasargadae. On it, the inscription read, "I am Cyrus, who founded the empire of Persia. Do not grudge me my monument." So what did Cyrus the Great actually leave behind? The largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from the Mediterranean to the Indus. A system of government so good that Alexander the Great, The man who conquered it kept using it. And an idea that still echoes today, that a ruler can be powerful and merciful at the same time. He was born to be murdered, raised in secret by a shepherd, and he ended up as the king the world called the Great. If you want more underdogs, more conquerors, and more empires rising from nothing, subscribe and hit the bell. Next up, we're telling the story of a general who crossed the Alps with elephants to destroy Rome. You won't want to miss it. Drop a comment telling me which conqueror you want after that. I read every single one. See you in the next one.